that it's just hopeless.
Yeah.
Do you still feel like that today?
Oh,
No. At any point, did you ever feel suicidal?
Oh, yeah.
Was that more towards the beginning when you were first arrested?
No.
Oh, that was later on. Did they know that you felt suicidal and kept you on watch, or you never said it? Or
They had me on watch.
do you remember at what age or what period that was when you felt suicidal? Do you remember?
Yeah, 17.
Oh, so this was at the beginning. This was.
Yeah.
So it was only at the beginning that you felt suicidal. It wasn't later on after you had been in prison.
I've been harassed by the news people regularly.
Yeah.
And after, at the trial and right after the trial, I was still harassed by them.
So did you have? I mean, you didn't have a formal trial, did you?
A formal child?
Trial. I mean, did you?
No.
No, it was just like a
Complete,
formality.
yeah.
It was just a regular.
Yeah.
I mean, looking back at that time now, do you regret, committing the robberies because that's what ultimately led up, to you being arrested and to the charges of murder? I mean, do you regret ever, doing?
Oh, yeah.
You do. Do you think about that a lot? That if you hadn't done that, then you'd be free?
Yeah.
Do you also regret confessing to the crimes of Suzanne Degnan, Josephine Ross, and Frances Brown?
No, there was no.
There was no
like I said,
choice.
I was over the barrel. So there was nothing else I could do.
How many parole hearings have you had?
Yeah, since 1973.
Since '73. And how many do you think about?
Well, 1973 to 2001.
Is there one every year? Is that how it works?
One every year.
Oh, one every year.
Subtract 6 from that, because I was given a 3-year set twice, and this last time I was given a 3-year set.
So there's one every year. Do you feel like these parole hearings are just a formality, or do you feel like the parole board will ever give you a fair chance? Do you feel like they go in knowing, well, we're gonna turn them down?
Well, the parole board doesn't follow the law than the plea bargain that I took. Under the plea bargain, I was supposed to get the benefits of the Parole Act as it existed at that time. In fact, in 1965 and 66, I was given the benefit of the Parole Act. And I was paroled on the Degnan murder case, and in 66 I was discharged on it after serving the parole in prison.
So why don't they parole you?
Because they changed the law in 73.
Oh, in '73 they changed the law. But they can let you out if they just have to, they just have to see your character and, how you...
Well, they've seen that.
Right, so...
They admit that I'm not that I am a good parole risk. In all the parole denials, they say that since 73.
So, what is your opinion on why do you think that they don't want to let you out?
What they call deprecate the serious offense and promote disrespect for the law. They want to keep me in so other people won't do what they say I did. It's what they call general deterrence.
Is that, but if they wanted to, they can just say at any of these parole hearings that would come up, they can say, you know, we believe that you're, you know, a changed person and we're gonna let you out. They can do that.
Oh, yeah. But then they had to take the consequence for the public uproar about it.
Do you think that
And they don't want to do that.
you think that there would be if they would let you?
Oh, yeah, there would be. There's always people out there to raise hell. Anybody that wants to get their name in the newspaper or your picture in the newspaper would raise hell about it.
What have you accomplished since being incarcerated? I mean, for example, I know that you have your college degree, right?
Yeah.
So what other things do you feel like you've accomplished?
I got a lot of guys out of prison.
You have particular hobbies, I guess. You like to draw or paint?
Yeah, I did, but they changed the rules in the institutions since the current administration came in, and we lost most of our painting materials.
Oh. How did you meet Dolores Kennedy, who's, you know, also the writer of the book about you? How did you meet her?
Through her father. Her father met me at Guyana. He was an attorney working on another guy's case, so he talked to me too. And we corresponded since then.
So how long have you known her? Would you say about how many years? I'll just flip this.
I'd say about 17 years.
Do you feel like Dolores has been your most loyal supporter over the years?
Oh yeah.
She's at the top. And she visits you, does she visit you every week or no?
No, maybe once a month.
Oh, once a month. If you could be paroled tomorrow, let's say, what would you want to do? Where would you live and would you want to work?
Over all the years, we had to put up a parole plan when we go up. All those, you can't, if you're not paroled, you can't take the job that you had arranged to get.
Right.
And they don't hold the jobs open for
Or,
you. So unless you have a job offer from within a family, you aren't going to have any pro plans. So I don't have any pro plans right now. I had a good pro plan to go to Albany, New York and work with the Department of Corrections in New York. But that offer isn't open anymore.
Knowing that there's, that there's still so many people out there who believe that you're really guilty, of the 3 murders, what would you, if you could speak to those people, what would you say to them? If you could say something to these people that, still after all the evidence that, they might have seen that says that you're not guilty of these crimes, would you say anything to them? And what would you say?
The people that believe that have to believe that. I mean, it's sort of like a religion.
That believe that you're guilty, they have to.
Yeah. Their world would come apart if they didn't believe that. So I don't know what you would tell people like that they're all wrong and they ought to look at things deeper and find out what's going on. But you aren't going to get people to do that. Kennedy's book brought out a lot of stuff.
Right.
And, for example, that there was a guy that confessed to the Dixon murder, and his handwriting checked out with the ransom note.
Yeah.
But people forgot about all that. They didn't even realize that it happened. And I didn't know about it until Kennedy found out.
So with the proof that shows that that there's most likely that person, or let's say somebody else did the murders, they still don't care. I mean, no one wants to take this on.
No, too many jobs had come about because of my conviction. They don't want to lose those jobs. That's what one of the, at the post-conviction hearing, the trial judge said that to my attorney. He says, I can't reverse this. Too many people lose their jobs.
Can you just tell me a little bit about prison life, like your average day? And I know that you were in the Vienna prison and now this one. Is there a difference in the prisons?
Oh, yeah.
There's a difference. How was it at the Vienna prison?
It was what they call minimum security. There was no fence around Vienna. We'd go to town shopping with a guard with us. And I was on what they call the unescorted day release program. So that the employer would come to the institution, pick me up, take it to his job site, and I'd work for him all day and then be brought in at night without a guard along. They had 2 kinds of day release. One where a guard did go along, and the other one's at the employer. You go through one and then you work your way into the unescorted.
And there you had your own cell. Do you have your own cell here, or
No,
here you have to share?
they double up everybody's cell.
Oh.
It was single cell when I went down to Vienna. But then they started needing rooms, so they doubled.
And you switched to this prison because of your health reasons, is that?
Yeah,
Was that yours?
well, also things were changing there. They were going into maximum security then. They were putting up a fence.
Oh.
And all the other privileges you had, you didn't have no more.
And what is this prison considered? Like medium security or is this maximum security?
I'd say it's high, medium.
Oh, great, thank you. And how do the other prisoners relate to you? Do you have lots of friends here? Do the younger ones come to you for advice or anything?
No. I have some friends, not too many,
Some.
but I don't go and try to make friends either, for that matter.
Oh. Have you ever had any problems with with inmates when you first came to prison, or did anybody ever bother you?
Well,
Pick on you, I don't know, just.
the guards, because you're high profile,
Oh,
they're always on you, watching you. So the other prisoners, they didn't want to get into any gambling games with me playing cards or anything else because they're afraid the guard is going to see them and write them a ticket.
yeah.
So you get kind of isolated that way. You don't get to play the games the older boys play.
Going back to the idea, and the obvious hope of being released from prison, what is the one major thing that you would look forward to if you could be released? I mean, would it be just being outside, past the gates, just having the freedom, or would you look forward to driving a car? I mean, is there any one thing that you would,
I'm not looking forward to driving a car,
No.
no. But I'd like to be able to get them to walk around. Especially with this diabetes, you don't get a chance to walk very much.
what are some of the things that you feel that you've missed out on, by being in here? Beyond the prison walls, what are some of the things that you feel, that you wish that you had? I mean, is it just, you wish you had a normal life with having a job or?
Yeah. Same as other people have out there.
Do you have any last thoughts or ideas that you want to share with me that I can put in the article so that people can read? Is there anything that you really want them to know, or anything that maybe you feel I haven't asked you about?
Well, I didn't know how you were going to come with your article, and I figured that if you were going to run an in-depth article, that you ought to do it on the victims, how they get tangled up in the crime themselves, such that it ruins their own life. Now, like on the Cruz case, the father of the girl, Janine, Tom, he still believes they ought to execute Cruz.
Mhm.
And he's out there, and what happened is that the prosecutors and investigators at the time, the thing being prosecuted, was coming to their house all the time, drinking up their coffee and sitting around and telling them, oh, we're gonna get him and all that, you know. So they got him so worked up that now he doesn't believe that anybody else could have committed the crime. And he still wants to execute Cruz. There was a long article in the Chicago magazine about that. So it's actually ruined his life. And this is encouraged by the prosecution.
Well, for example, I guess like Susan Degman's brother and sister, they come to every parole hearing, is that?
They did before, until Hardigan talked him into doing it. Daley talked him into coming up.
Mhm.
Otherwise, they wouldn't have been in it. They
And
didn't. Since '73 until 10 years, I was going on the parole board. They never showed up. And all of a sudden, when the thing came up and I was always going to be released, the judge ordered me released and they took it on appeal. That's when the Degmans were brought in.
And they come every parole
Well,
hearing?
now they do.
Yeah.
Not as far as I know. I don't get to see them.
Oh, you don't, okay.
No. In fact, they're so hung up like the Cruz people that Betty Finn, who's Suzanne Dignan's sister, at the last clemency hearing, she brought her 6-year-old grandson and introduced him to the parole board and says, after I'm dead, he will take my place in protesting parole. And he's not a victim.
Right.
Nor was her brother, who was also pulled into it. Betty Finn's brother, he wasn't even born yet. In fact, he would not have been born if Suzanne Dignan hadn't died, because the parents were settled on just having 2 children.
Is there-
So